Hello and welcome to the wonderful world of old sheet music. I am your host, Nicholas Carroll. Tonight I'm looking at this piece called Dreamy Melody. And it says there, the Mrs. Dennis, Ruth, and Cherie. Words and music by Ted Cooler, Frank Magine, and C. Nassett. So 3 composers worked together to write this piece. It is from 1922. It does have our standard kind of advertisement on the back for sheet music of this era. This one is for a different piece. It has quite a fancy border to it though. So it's kind of a cool thing to see on some of these old sheet musics is the details. Do you, don't you, will you, won't you is the name of this song that they're advertising. It also has an advertisement on the inside for a few other pieces. The Remick collection, a standard of copyrighted instrumental music, novelettes, intermezzos, reveries, specially adapted to teachers, students, moving picture artists, and academies. So this does have words, so I'm going to read you those first like I often do. It says, I'm in love with a melody that captured me. It's a part of my heart haunting, and I'm forever saying, play that dreamy melody, that soothing refrain, play it sweet and tenderly. I don't know why it haunts me, so I seem to hear it everywhere I go. Play that magic harmony, 'twill linger forever, just like a memory. Oh, let me dream and play for me that melody. Verse 2, night and day like a magic charm, that melody comes to me constantly thrilling me, and that's why I keep saying, play that dreamy melody, etc., etc., and then it repeats the same refrain I just read. So this does have a vocal part, obviously, but it has it broken out into a separate line, so clearly this was intended to be performed or sung maybe in the home for kind of like the amateur era of home music in the 20s. This is also performing rights reserved in Canada. So I don't know if maybe one of the peoples is from Canada or not. It doesn't usually say that on these pieces, especially not ones that are in this era. So I think that's kind of an interesting thing there that's not on most of them. Though when I tried to research these artists, you can't find anything about the composers except this exact piece, and there aren't very many hits for it when you Google it. It's kind of an obscure one, I think. I certainly never heard of any of it, either the song or the people, the composers listed there. I do know this Jerome H. Remick company that was a New York Tin Pan Alley publishing company, but this piece isn't the famous one. It says it's a moderate waltz. It's supposed to be slow and dreamy also. So we'll see how it sounds. And so there we have it, Dreamy Melody. Now I didn't really hold this up close to the camera before. I did read the names, the Mrs. Dennis's. I'm not sure what that's really about. And then it says Ruth, Ann, and Cherie. I'm assuming that that's Ruth, Ann, and Cherie. I'm not sure what the Mrs. Dennis thing is about. I guess maybe they're supposed to be like 3 daughters of a Mr. Dennis, and I don't know. Or maybe they were singers in the 20s, but they look like, especially for the way they're dressed, that they might be older than that. My guess is as good as any there on that. It was really a pretty standard jazz waltz from that era. A lot of passing tones, a lot of those accidentals. And that was just something that they wrote a lot of things like that, like you heard me doing on this one part. And sometimes, you know, it doesn't even sound like you're playing the right notes, but it almost sounds like Phantom of the Opera a little bit if you go a certain speed, but that's where that comes in. Other than that, nothing too out of the ordinary. Dreamy Melody.